Yo, what is good, everybody? This is KJ here, and I'm going to be giving you post-com for my Week 5 match against Dunk in the Watermelon League. I do also want to note I have played my Week 4 and Week 6 matches. Unfortunately, I've been having a ton of issues, connection issues as well as OBS issues, which is why I'm doing post-com and why those two matches will not be going up on YouTube. So, sorry about that. We did lose both of those matches. One of them was a disconnection that we ended up calling it, and it was a 4-2 disconnection, and that was the Week 4 one against Watermelon. And then Week 6 there was a disconnection, and that was against Sally Mumble. We did end up getting the chance to sort of recreate on Showdown, but it was really, really ugly, so I decided I'm not going to be putting that on either. We did lose that 1-0. And yeah, I mean, the game against Watermelon, it was tough, but there were some hacks that really, really tilted me, but whatever. Again, it's all good. So let's get into this match. So he leads with Xatu as I lead with the baby hippo, hippopotas. And I wanted to get a switch in here. I was hoping that it would bring out anything but Pissimian. Anything to threaten Xatu would be good. I thought about hard switching. I probably should have hard switched, but it's all good. So he goes for Reflect. Had I hard switched into Dracozolt there, we would have been in a very good spot, especially because he didn't bring Ferrothorn, which is something I was really afraid of. But I do Whirlwind, and Whirlwind myself out into Pissimian, which is rough. I wanted to play the odds, and also there was a chance that, like, if he was afraid of Rock type move or anything like that, he could have switched, and then we would have Whirlwinded something else in. But it's all good. So did Whirlwind Pissimian in, and I was definitely considering clicking knockoff, but I decided the better call was to go ahead and try to switch out here. Yeah, so I believe I go into Rotom here, and the thinking there was Rotom pressures a ton of his team. And it's funny, like, Rotom has been my kill leader all season. I think it has like 5 or 6 kills or something like that. So yeah, I figured go into Rotom, it pressures this thing. The best that this would be able to do is maybe click T-Wave, but Rotom can't really take that. He does click Simple Beam, which I thought was a really cool bring. I was not expecting Simple Beam, and yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. It would have been really interesting had I brought Nasty Plot. I think that would have been really bad for him. Fortunately for him, I was Volt, Hydro Pump, Defog, and Willow. So we are, with no ground type, Volt Switch is super free against this team, which is, again, really nice. Spiritomb comes out here, and I am able to just pretty freely switch out on this. It is pressure, and I forgot about that. I went into Azu, and then I was like super worried about Infiltrator. In hindsight, I should have clicked sub and like not even worried about it, because I should have known that the Will-O-Wisp was coming. And had I clicked sub here, he would have been in an absolute world of hell. Because Ozzy behind a sub was really good against this team. But I go ahead and I click, I go ahead and I let Azu get burned, and that was really rough for me because this immediately pops my Lumberry. But it's all good. If I'd have gotten the sub, that would have been really good. But anyway, it's all good. So yeah, I didn't think about that. Got the play rough off, and I was just thinking at this point I can play rough again and get rid of the Spiritomb, which Spiritomb was actually one of the few things I was worried about because of the fact that it walls Passimian. So Azu getting rid of this was really good. Again, in hindsight, I really do wish that I would have clicked sub there because I think Azu could have put in a bit more work otherwise, but it's all good. So now he has to bring out something to deal with Azu. He didn't bring Ferrothorn or, what is the name of the Mon? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, it's another grass type. It'll come back to me. But he does go into Duraludon here. So I'm expecting a Thunderbolt, but I just want a superpower. I really want a superpower here. Just because I think that he's going to be in a spot where taking damage on Duraludon would really hurt. So I do click superpower. He does click light screen. And I'm starting to realize that like he's playing the long game of trying to get screens up and using some of his like more natural bulk to deal with things. So that is really, really unfortunate and kind of annoying for me, but it's all good. So I do go into Rotom here, expecting a Thunderbolt, and he does go for the Thunderbolt. It doesn't do a ton, which is good. And I think that's obviously because he's not Specs, he's not Life Orb. I don't actually know what the item was, but anyway, I am going to defog his screens away because that is really important for me. And yeah, I think this thing is going to be super, super threatening. So I wanted to make sure that if I am firing off attacks on it, that I'm not sort of like taking, or I'm doing as much damage as possible. So get rid of the Reflect, get rid of the Light Screen, and he goes for Dragon Pulse. So he reveals that he probably doesn't have Draco, because I would imagine he would want a Steel move. And Rotom takes a lot of damage there. Not great, especially for how key Rotom is for me in this match, but we are faster, so I am going to Volt Switch, get some more chip on this thing, and then we can kind of go into something else and hope for the best. So, going through, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to go into, but I ended up going into Baby Hippo just because I thought that we'd be in a decent spot. Like, he'd have to be clicking either a Steel move or Dragon Pulse, so it's all good. He does click Reflect, so that's kind of annoying. And in this particular case, I was thinking, like, I probably could go into Dracozolt, and I probably should. So I do go into Dracozolt here, and I definitely misplay. Hard misplay here. So in this particular case, I'm looking at it, looking at the damage, and I was like, do I go Low Kick? Do I go Earthquake? I didn't want to go Bolt Beak because of the resistance, but in hindsight, I probably should have just switched out. I don't think that it was necessarily worth it to click a move here. I probably should have calced it, like I said, because of the pretty poor Spadef. Flamethrower might have worked better as well. But actually, no, he had a light screen up, so that wouldn't have happened. So yeah, I go for an Earthquake, and it doesn't kill. Surprise, surprise. And I actually lose my Dracozolt. And Dracozolt and Sand was just really, really good in this matchup. I played that terribly, and honestly, I've been playing a few of the matches in this league a little rough. I've definitely let myself get tilted based on hacks and stuff like that, so not ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. It happens to everybody, so it's all good. So now I'm in kind of a tough spot because I need to get rid of this thing, but I decide, like, I'll go into Rotom and I'll try to Volt Switch and see what's going on and see if I can pick up the kill on this and then get myself in a better situation going forward. So, yeah, we'll see. So, unfortunately, we don't pick up the kill with the Volt Switch. And again, it's because he's behind light screen. So now we're in a spot where I kind of have to sack something, and I think Baby Hippo is sort of the thing to sack at this point. But we should be able to live 2 Dragon Pulses, I'm pretty sure, until he crits. So he does get a crit there, which is really unfortunate because now we cannot get Rocks Up. And getting Rocks Up in this match was kind of nice, just for the chip and everything. So we do lose Baby Hippo to a crit, which is, again, unfortunate. We would have lived 2 otherwise, because he's not a boosting item. And yeah, so at this point I was a bit worried because I still think Passimian wins the game, but man, my resources are pretty limited. So I go into Rotom, and this time Rotom will be able to pick up the kill. With the Volt Switch, he does let this thing go down, which I don't know if that was the best idea. I think this thing still put on a ton of pressure, especially if it was faster than everything, which I think it might have been faster than Passimian. I know it's higher base speed, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I go into Azu. So the KJ misplay counter is at 2, or the KJ hard misplay counter is at 2. I really want the Dracozolt and the Azu play back. That was really rough, like not subbing on the Will-O-Wisp. I remember even saying, like, when I was actually doing the comm, oh, he's probably Infiltrator, and that means this Will-O-Wisp is gonna go through and pop my berry anyway. I still should have just subbed. Like, at the worst, I would have been in a spot there, but it's all good. So he goes into Regice, and I was a bit worried about a setup Regice, specifically like Rock Polish with a weakness policy, and I kind of wanted to see what he was going to do. So I clicked sub, thinking if he clicks Rock Polish, expecting me to superpower because I've already revealed that, then at least I'm behind a sub when he Rock Polishes. But he just actually goes for a Raw Thunderbolt. So he goes for a Raw Thunderbolt, and that's fine. We get the sub up. And now I'm at a point where if he breaks my sub, I get the superpower up. And then if he is weakness policy, I can come in with Passimian and be able to do massive damage to it. So yeah. So he does Thunderbolt again, break the sub, and I superpower, and it does reveal that he is weakness policy. So that was definitely not what I wanted to see. But I knew here that I needed to click, and so his Reflect wore off, which was good. I knew here that I needed to click superpower, and if he Thunderbolts, then like that's fine. I let this thing go down, but I needed to make sure that I could pressure this, because if he Rock Polished on a switch, then I was in massive trouble. So his light screen wears off, so that's good. And now I can go into Passimian pretty freely, so that's nice. Passimian definitely put on a ton of work in this matchup. And again, I thought sub bulk up was the move, especially with him only having a few resists to fighting. So like I figured this was worth it. So I do close combat into the Xatu, which is a 4x resist, and that doesn't do a ton. I don't want to risk the speed issue, so I do end up switching out here. I go into Rotom. Rotom is like basically my catch-all, like pivot into things here. I almost didn't bring Sand, and in hindsight, I wish I didn't. Like, I was gonna bring Celebi, And then I decided to bring Baby Hippo instead. Like, I was going to bring Celebi and then bring, like, a Hustle Dracozolt. But Dracozolt has been, like, Dracozolt with Hustle would have just been sort of like a manifestation of all of my problems in this league, because I've been missing moves consistently the entire season. So, yeah, so he switches out back into Regice, which is fine. I do end up defogging here, so that was pretty huge to be able to get rid of his screens. And yeah, now I'm kind of expecting this thing to go ahead and set up a Rock Polish. So I decide I'm gonna try to like just whittle it down a little bit with burn damage. So that was sort of my thought there. I could have Volt Switched into Passimian, and I think Passimian would have forced it out, and possibly would have forced Xatu back in. But again, it is what it is. I think this particular situation, I wasn't too mad. Also, the Grass Fairy type that he has is Shiinotic. That was the other one that he had. So, yeah. Anyway, I do decide I'm going to Hydro Pump here. I just want to get as much damage on this thing as possible. And he shows that he is Ancient Power. So he's fishing for Ancient Power boosts now that he doesn't have the weakness policy there. So that's definitely kind of rough. So here I have a couple of decisions I could make. Like, the burn damage does bring him down. So I can either Hydro Pump again, I can Volt Switch into either Garchomp or Passimian, or I can Hard Switch. And just looking at his team, like, he still has T-Tar, he still has Suicune. I need health on Rotom to be able to take out the Suicune, and I know that. So I make the decision here to go ahead and switch, or to go to Hydro Pump, rather, sorry. I know I need the HP, but I decide I'll get some recovery back, he won't be able to kill, and I really, really need to kill this thing. Yeah, sorry. I was misremembering. But yeah, so I get rid of that threat, that's good, and now I'm expecting either Suicune or T-Tar to come in, and if it's Suicune, then I'm 100% planning on Volt Switching out. If it was T-Tar, then I need to burn it. Like, absolutely need to Will-O-Wisp it. So he does go into T-Tar, and we do see that he is not Sandstream. He is Unnerve. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this is definitely a DD T-Tar, especially with all the screens and all that stuff. So I click Will-O-Wisp. I just need to get a burn on this thing. And yeah, so we get the burn, which is awesome. And he does, in fact, Dragon Dance. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, T-Tar isn't a huge threat for me. He probably has... I was thinking he probably has, like, Stone Edge, Ice Punch, and Crunch as his three moves, just based on my team comp. So I think he needs to be at +2 to be able to kill Rotom. So he does Dragon Dance again, and I do get very, very good damage off here. So that was kind of my thinking. I was like, I'm gonna Hydro Pump and try to chip this thing as much as possible. So we do get a pretty good amount of damage off. We put him in range where I think two burn chips end up taking him out. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I need to read the potential Crunch and go into Passimian, because I resist it, even though he's at +2, he's burned. I didn't want to go into Garchomp on the off chance that he was packing Ice Punch, which again, I'm pretty sure that he was. So I decided go into Passimian, and if he clicks a Rock or a Dark move, I'm good. If he clicks Ice Punch, then, well, that's unfortunate. He does, in fact, click Crunch, which is pretty big for me, because T-Tar was still a bit of a problem. I had answers to it, but T-Tar is still very scary. But T-Tar goes down to the burn, so that's another kill for Rotom. And yeah, I think at this point he could go into the he could go into the Xatu, but I expected Suicune. So at this point I was thinking, all right, if he subcom mined, then like that's fine. Because I also can sub. So I sub here, and I do reveal that I'm faster, which is actually really nice for me. And so that makes me know that Rotom is faster than this, which again is very huge. And so he reveals that he is sub lefties. So I'm guessing he's sub lefties calm mind. So I decide I'm gonna bulk up here. And the reason behind that is because if we both end up attacking on the same turn, then I know I'm faster, and basically if I can get an attack off after the sub is broken, then I can put this thing in Rotom range even after the Calm Minds. So at this point I was playing for a Rotom endgame because I knew that with the fact that he was like screens and everything, that Xatu wasn't going to be able to take out Rotom. And he was like Simple Beam, and I saw the damage earlier, and I knew that Simple Beam wasn't going to be able to do it. So I wanted to make sure that Suicune was in range, especially regardless of whether it got to like +1, +2, whatever. So so I did, again, think like we want to break the sub. So I CC here, and this CC does, in fact, break the sub. I think that definitely like obvious that would happen. And again, need to remember he is at +1, but I believe he also, yeah, so he Scald here as well. So so neither of us are behind a sub now, and my biggest thing is I need to sack Passimian to make sure that Rotom can get in cleanly. And I'm also a reminder, like I still have Garchomp in the back. So I do close combat here, and it doesn't do as much as I would have hoped. So it does reveal to me that he is like very, very defensively invested. And this Scald is gonna completely erase us. So at this point I was a little worried, but I knew like I need to basically sack Garchomp. I'm expecting him to be packing Ice Beam. So at this point I knew I need to sack Garchomp to get some damage on this thing and really put it into range for Rotom. Because right now it's not in range, it's at +1, so it's not in range of a Rotom Volt Switch, but after an Earthquake it definitely will be. So I do decide I'm gonna sack Garchomp and put this thing in the red. And yep, he does reveal that he has Ice Beam, so this is going to absolutely destroy Garchomp. And it's funny, actually, so this was partially a problem for me in prep, is that I should have went Life Orb. I went Expert Belt because I didn't want to take the potential unnecessary chip, but I should have went Life Orb, and I think Life Orb would have picked up that kill based on the damage roll. So if I went Life Orb, I would have been in a better spot, but it is what it is. So at this point, I have Rotom, and he's in the yellow health, so, but I also resist both of his attacks, even though he's at +1, so, but anyway, Rotom is faster, as we knew, and it does pick up the kill here. And again, I knew that Simple Beam wouldn't deal the necessary damage. I was a little worried that he could potentially be faster and would be able to like Toxic me and then Simple Beam and possibly live the Volt Switch, but that wasn't, yeah, so he does live the Volt Switch, but that wasn't actually the case. So he does Light Screen here, which isn't going to help too much because, again, Light Screen, like, Rotom was still doing more than enough to be able to take this out. So yeah, we are going to go to, I think, counting weeks 4 and 6, and also the week where somebody dropped, so we all got a free win. We're going to go to 3 and 4, 3 and 4 +1. So yeah, this was, again, Really, really good match. Shout out to Dunk. He's been talking about how he's going to bring Stall, and then he just brought like a really good balanced team with screens and stuff. So we're hoping weeks 7 and 9, I think, are the last 2 weeks that we have to play a match. So I'm hoping in week 7 and 9 that we can pull together and win a couple of games and make a push for playoffs. But yeah, so that's going to be it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will be back next week for my next match, and I think I have all of the issues with the sound and everything squared away. So I will be here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody stopping in. If you like the content, please hit the like and subscribe, or hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. All right. Thanks, everybody. Peace.